This is All Hitches, the Nova Football Podcast.
Yo, tune in, lock in, it's the All Hitches show. Dash and Dan on the mic, let the Nova tales flow. From the booth to the field, we hitch up the truth. All Hitches podcast, drop the beat, here's the proof. Dash and Dan in the cut, bringing heat to the game.
All right, welcome back to All Hitches, Nova's #1 football podcast. Coach Mason, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I'm waiting for the snow to happen. Are we ever getting? Because
No, we're not getting snow. Are you kidding me? We're having 50-degree days, 60-degree days. I mean, no.
Those meteorologists lied. They were like, "Oh, it's weather patterns can line up. We're gonna get a major snowstorm this year."
That John Denver's full of shit. I mean, that's just what it is. We're supposed to be in winter in the mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
And we're getting 50s, 40s, 60s, everything. But I want some snow. Enough of the dumb and dangerous, you know?
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
This is like the first year we hadn't got snow the first week of January. Like the last 3 years, we've gotten snow in the first week of January.
Yeah, it's, and plus I love getting a good snow on a Sunday, staying up watching the games, the playoff games and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you don't have to worry about going to school the next day. Oh, man, it's the best.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I will say about being teachers. I mean, obviously there's plenty not to like, that people complain about money and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But the one thing that I love is there's a lot of feelings in us that never left from childhood, right?
Yes.
So I remember being a kid Sunday evening and like at my grandparents' house, and like they'd watch like on a loop like the old Fox, and Fox would show like reruns all day. And when MASH came on, when the umbrella started flapping and the old MASH theme came on, I was like, oh man, it's evening. It's Sunday evening. 60 Minutes, the ticker.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sunday evening. My mom to maybe take a shower and I got to get ready to go to school. I still get those feelings now. When the game's in and I'm watching football on a Sunday and 60 Minutes comes on, or Barry Weiss nixes an episode of 60 Minutes, I all of a sudden get that feeling that I'm like, oh man, I got to get ready for work tomorrow.
So you're talking about snow days, and the thing I always remember, we talk all the time. I don't think people realize how often we talk about how much you hated Fauquier County, because you would always be waiting for Fairfax County and Fauquier County always getting the day off.
They would always get the day off, but then I learned that where it was exactly, and it was kind of like it's a little bit off the beaten path. They get a little bit more rough weather than we do. Where's this Fauquier place, Mom? Mom, we moved to Fauquier. They don't go to school in Fauquier. Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff.
Speaking of going to school,
dude, we got a great guest today.
We do.
I'm excited.
Oakton Cougar legend.
Oakton Cougar legend. Son of Dallas Cowboy legend, right? I mean, Coach North Turner, he was the OC for how many rings? 3 rings, I think.
3 rings, yeah. It might have been 2. He may not have been there for the last one.
Yeah, I don't remember, but definitely got a bunch of rings.
Yeah.
And then you look at Scott Turner. I mean, who's going to be joining us today. Scott's got the resume. I mean, it's freaking just NFL blue bloods.
Yeah, and he's been a lot of stops, including a Northern Virginia coach. He's also been a Northern Virginia coach.
That's right. So I mean, I think people are really going to love
played
this.
under a Hall of Famer, right? Played under Hall of Famer Pete Bendorf, right?
Right. I don't think people realize. I know obviously the coaching, the coaches, the old guard especially, they know about Scott Turner and being a local guy and being an NFL coach, NFL OC and all that stuff. But the younger guys don't. I don't think they know. All of them don't know and appreciate it.
No. And oddly enough, you think that I mean, he was a college player. You would think. I wonder if Oakton has like a wall of guys who got to the next level, because he should be on there for sure.
Oh, dude, 100%. I mean, look, you were the OC of the Commanders.
Yeah.
Like, you kidding me? And I'm not a
boy,
Commanders
right?
guy, but he was also the OC of this team right here, buddy, and that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So, you can't. I mean, impeccable resume. UNLV, right? Player, and then he's going to talk about his first stint coaching out of college was at a school that we're not going to give it away right now. You got to watch the interview and you'll see. But he was coaching at a local school in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, and really cool to kind of talk to a guy who's kind of climbed the ladder a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. To go literally right from, player to high school coach,
Yeah.
and then, networking and all that, and working his way up, from, quality control and all that
Yeah.
to eventually, coordinator.
Coordinator in the
Pretty
NFL.
amazing stuff
Yeah.
at the highest level. So sit back, gonna enjoy this one. We got Oakton Cougar legend Scott Turner, the longtime NFL coach and currently pass game coordinator with the New York Jets.
Yeah.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, well, welcome now, veteran NFL coach, Oakton Cougar graduate, Coach Scott Turner. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, guys. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good having you. So you like to lead off questions and so you went to UNLV and you went to UNLV in 2000.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Southern California, and actually I just moved here about 4 years ago. So I've been to Vegas. So I used to see old Vegas. So I mean I used to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Started in the 90s. So where is a spot that locals would go to when you're in college at UNLV? Because obviously the Strip is crazy, but where would you guys go, like hang out?
It is. A lot of us, a lot of guys, people actually lived in like Henderson, in the Henderson area. And, we'd go to different places out there. I just lived there for the last 2 years because I coached for the Raiders the last 2 seasons before coming out to the Jets. In Vegas, actually, it's just like living anywhere else. You know what I mean? When you stay off the Strip, it's a little different that way. But, we I don't know. There's a lot of different places. Kind of the one thing about Vegas is they got something for everybody. You know what I mean? Like no matter what you like it's there, and you can kind of stay away from all the madness. It's actually a pretty good place to live, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's crazy how much it's changed, right? Because you went there in 2000. Obviously, I grew up in Southern California. And the first time I went there, I used to go with like my grandparents in like the 80s. And I think about the way Vegas looked then and the way Vegas looks now. It's wild how much it's changed since in the last 25, 30 years.
No, for sure. And obviously, like with gambling being legalized nationwide, like I think kind of the stigma of Vegas has gone off of it a little bit. The Raiders being there, the Golden Knights being there, they're getting the A's. So yeah, it's totally changed.
Yeah,
I thought Mason was going to ask you where to get a good prime rib. It was a Caesar's.
Yeah,
that's what I thought Mason was going to ask.
No, well, the good spot is called Piero's. It's an Italian food restaurant. I guess they just changed ownership. The original owner just sold it. I don't know if you guys watched the Lakers the Lakers show, the winning time or whatever, where they have the Lakers, but where they had the meeting. So they actually had the meeting with Tarkania, and that was the restaurant they were at. It was called Piero's, and the mob guys were there, and they like kind of pushed Tarkanian away. Like that's like an old school Italian place, and that's like a place you got to go to. It's off the Strip. It's over by like the convention center or whatever, but that's a place that not many people know about. That it's definitely worth going to when you go to Vegas.
Yeah, I'm hitting it up. Then that's the place I'm going to go to next time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier we're talking and we'll get into South County and all that, but let's go back to Oakton. So Oakton grad. Now I'm going to bring it around to middle school for a second. I taught at Lanier for a little bit, and I know you went there because my good friend Bill Wilkinson was a teacher at Lanier when you were there.
Yeah, it's hard to. That's a long time ago. But no, definitely. Yeah, was at Lanier for 7th and 8th grade. It was crazy because where we lived, like it was weird with the districts. Like I went to Waples Mill Elementary School, and then like most of that elementary school went to Franklin Middle School, but I went to Lanier, and then at Lanier, most of Lanier went to Fairfax High School, but I ended up going to Oakton. So it was a different deal, but I enjoyed my time there, and then obviously 4 years at Oakton, and you before we got on the show, you talked about Coach Pete Bendorf, and played for him there, and it was great experience.
Actually, it's funny. So the Fairfax, I don't know if you know this, but there's a window at Fairfax High School, and as I taught at Lanier for so long, where they had like a plethora of guys go pro. So it was all like in a 4-year window. They had Terry Rubisky, Brian Rubisky was there.
Yeah.
He went there. He didn't go to high school here. He moved.
He went to Robinson. Yeah.
Right. So Brian Rubisky went to Lanier. Evan Royster went to Lanier, and then Owen Schmidt went to Lanier. Yeah. So all three.
He went to Fairfax.
He did go to Fairfax. Were you guys the same years?
No, those guys were all younger than me. Yeah, okay. So they were all younger than me. But like Brandon Royster was Evan's older brother, and he was at Fairfax. And then Evan went and played at Westfield, and then went to Penn State. And then, Owen Schmidt went to West Virginia. And then, obviously Brian Rubisky went to, ended up going to Ohio State. But Terry Rubisky, like I'm still really close with him. Like he was my dad's receiver coach at the Redskins. Right. And then, a legendary coach. And I don't know if you've ever met him, but he's like the greatest storyteller of all time. Legendary guy. But no, that was a good run for Lanier. There's a lot of, people don't realize there's a lot of good football players that came through Northern Virginia. I was at the Combine a couple of years ago, and I was giving D'Angelo Hall a bunch of stuff because I don't know if you guys remember that Centerville. So my senior year was when Centerville won the state championship, and they beat Deep Creek, and D'Angelo was there. And I went to the game, and Centerville was up 28-0, and then Deep Creek came all the way back, and then Will Montgomery made the tackle, and I was giving D'Angelo a hard time. I said, the best player on the field, it wasn't you, it was Will Montgomery. Like, he's the guy that stopped the game. And he was like, man, he was getting so mad at me, man. It was funny, for sure. But no, that was a good time. That was like I said, that was the 2000 football season, class of 2001. That's when I graduated high school. So
yeah, that is a good run. I always got to get Mesa, because Mesa reminds us a lot about Southern California and Long Beach and all his guys out there. So we got to remind him once in a while. We got some guys here too in Nova here, Mesa.
No, they just have so many people. Like, it's like, oh yeah, California, Florida, Texas. Like, yeah, it's population. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a lot of population, like, yes, you're gonna have more players. Like, that's normally how that works. But no, it's good. I mean, Tyrod Taylor plays for us with the Jets, and obviously he's in Newport News, and he's a Tidewater guy. But like we talk about that, like the different, he talked about how it was always like they'd always come out of the beach, and then they'd have to come play some team from Nova, you know what I mean, for the state championship. And no, it's good football, and like I said, I keep in touch. I try to follow as much as I can. John Shields is a good friend of mine. Is the coach at Centerville. Yeah. We worked together at South County. I know his son. Oh, wow. Son had a good season this year, and they had a good year. They had that tough loss. Who they lose to? Those to Madison in the 2-point play or whatever. But I was following it, and actually I got to reach out to him. So I'm talking. But no, I try to keep up with it. I mean, obviously it was part of my growing up and everything. So it's important. I mean, again, I'm also like a football junkie, so just love it. So,
So you played quarterback, correct? I'm gonna make sure I got that right.
I did. Yes. Yeah.
I played quarterback. So I guess this is kind of a comparing now and then, because you also coach at its highest level, and you coached you with a lot of guys who were growing up a little different. How was the difference between training when you were in high school playing quarterback and kind of the training that goes on nowadays? What the specialization?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more specialization. There's a lot more like individual quarterback trainers. Like I used to go to this thing called Pro Speed, but it was more like, it wasn't for like quarterback training. It was just more for like training. You know what I mean? As far as like running. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I think it's totally changed. I mean, the game's changed too. Like, everyone's in shotgun now. I mean, back in the day, we were running the, basically the wing tee. You know what I mean? We ran a lot of option at Oakton, but I think like high school football, is definitely changed. I'm not as in touch with it. I mean, my kids are young. They're 11 and 9, so I'm not involved. But like some people that I know, I mean, they're and there's a lot of, we talk about this all the time because I don't believe in specialization. I think kids should play every sport, and you look at some of the best players. I mean, in the NFL, like a lot of those guys, they didn't just play football. They played basketball, played baseball, everything like that. So, I think that's important to just be well-rounded. And you're going to get more from competing and playing other sports than you are from training. You know what I mean? But I think that there's a lot of that individual training for skills, and especially quarterbacks.
Did you play youth football growing up?
I did. I played for VYI.
Of course you did. You didn't you weren't playing FPYC. You played for Look, I don't blame you. We lived in Fairfax. Right. I grew up on FPYC, and then my mom was my youngest brother. He's 4 younger than me. My mom was like, no, we're going to VYI for the youngest.
Yeah. No, it was a great program, for sure. I played 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So when we moved to Oakton when I was 11. So that was, yeah.
Well,
And they're still king of the hill. I mean, VYI still even now. I mean, the creme de la creme. I mean, we talk about, and you follow it still. I mean, Madison.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that surprise you a little bit though, seeing the Madison Oakton kind of flip there a little bit?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, it doesn't, not that much, but I know like my good friend lives in Vienna. And it's actually who I'm going to stay with when I go to his house on Friday. And I just, there's a lot of money in the area, and there's a lot. I think Vienna has changed. You know what I mean? You see, they're tearing down a bunch of those old houses. They're on Cottage Road and Park and everything like that. And back by Jonas Park, where I played my little league baseball. But yeah, they're putting up the the $2 million homes, and I think that's kind of changed change it a little bit, and I don't know how the boundaries have changed. I know like when I was in high school, when Westfield got built, that took a lot of players from Oakton, you know what I mean? And I think that some of those effects have been ongoing as well.
Right.
So when you got done playing at UNLV, you were a GA, correct? For a year or so, and then you went back to high school. What was what were you still gonna be like, I'm gonna be coach college, but I need to kind of figure things out, or what was the thought process going
no, so I went to Oregon State as a GA, and I was kind of fresh out of college. I was on 4 years at UNLV, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like coaching. I just always am like, football is a relationship business, and so being involved with players and trying to get guys better, and I just wasn't getting that. And I kind of missed living in Northern Virginia as well, so coming back out to Northern Virginia, and just, working at the high school and coaching for 2 years and just kind of doing everything, you paint the fields, you freaking hand out the equipment. I mean, it's, and that was big, and Coach Bendorf was, taking over that new program, and just be a part of that for 2 years was good. And I really enjoyed that. I learned a lot, and we ended up making the playoffs the second year. I was there and lost to Westfield. It was Mike Glennon, and they ended up winning the state championship that year. But learned a lot. It was a great experience. And then I went to University of Pittsburgh as a GA after that, and then kind of my career kind of took off from there. But I really, it's just part of it was more so just wanting to coach, and again, wanting to live out, on the East Coast and back in Northern Virginia was really what kind of made that decision for me.
South County was that back then, obviously you said it, that was the new school.
Right.
First time in however many, decades, they're about to build a new school. I don't know if you heard about this, but 2 years away, right, from having sports. It's going to be, what are they, Mason, what, Sally Ride High School, Douglas West? We don't really know the name yet.
Something like that.
But it's going to be kind of like pull from Westfield, pull from Centerville. It's going to be out that way.
Okay, I got you. I mean, there's so many schools that are popping up. When I was coaching with Washington, I lived right by Briarwood High School. I was just north of Briarwood, and then all the different schools in that area. A bunch of our coaches had some older kids that would, we had some kids at Independence that were like some of our coaches, coaches' sons. And I mean, it's just obviously Northern Virginia. There's so much money in the area, and there's so much. It's ever expanding. You know what I mean? So there's always different communities popping up, and different schools. I'm more of a, but I go back to the roots of, kind of the Eastern Fairfax County, Annandale's and the West Springfield and all those different, playing against those schools, Robinson, Lake Braddock, I mean, those are the guys that, we'd always go against, when I was in high school.
So, so you did climb the ladder, and you went from a GA to kind of to what the offensive analysis to. So there's coaches out there who kind of want to kind of going to college. What advice would you give those guys who are who want to make that turn? Kind of what to expect, what just kind of, any kind of advice you'd give them.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not naive to the fact, obviously my dad was an NFL head coach, and I had, some connections that helped me get my foot in the door. But I think the biggest thing is when you do get an opportunity is there's no job too small, especially as a young coach, and make yourself irreplaceable. So whatever, when someone asks a question, who does that? Well, it's Scott does that, or, I mean, so, the people count on you, and they know that they can, and they know that, if they give you a job that you're going to get it done. And there's a lot of hours involved in coaching. There's a lot of thankless jobs, you know what I mean, that it doesn't get noticed until you screw it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, don't be afraid to do those things. And, that's what it's about. And it's just like I said, like football is a relationship business, and it's just about being around the guys, and being a part of a team. And that's where you get like your satisfaction from. And just, do whatever you can to like help the freaking that engine run, that's the team. And I think, a lot of times you feel like it goes unnoticed, but it doesn't, like the older coaches are noticing. We have guys on our staff that, do an unbelievable job, and they probably think that, whatever, they're stuck, but like they're going to build careers based off of the things that they're doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So, I've been coaching high school for 25 years now. And a lot of times I tell young coaches, I go, when I first started, like I would do what I would look for things that the head coach was like, man, I don't want to do that thing, and do that thing. Right. I mean,
Right.
just do the grunt work, do all the stuff, and just kind of be around it and kind of learn how to do all those things. Because like you said, I think sometimes they think it's thankless work, but and I've been a head coach, and I'm like, no, if I see a coach who was like, doing this for me, doing that for me, just kind of taking care of the small things for me, I mean, it goes really appreciated. I mean, I remember being a coach, and back when we had to exchange films, not through huddle, but by driving to some diner somewhere in between, and handing off film, or staying late and entering in stuff on film, to breaking down film.
Right.
I mean, all those things are big, and also I think it gives you a good baseline for when you start to move up. You know how to do those things. Because I think a lot of times, especially young high school coaches, when they come in, they want a coordinator now, and I'm like,
right.
Take your time. Like there's other things you gotta learn, to kind of bolster yourself.
That's the truth on every level. Like, there's no doubt. And like, people see other people, other young coaches that are getting elevated quickly, and they feel like that's going to happen for them. And like, everyone's timeline's different, and it's just like, putting yourself, just throwing yourself into the work, and that's where, that's where the rewards come from. And it's a tough job. And we just went through a really hard year, going 3-14 at the Jets, and we're trying to turn this program around. And there wasn't a lot of like laughing and smiling, especially this month or so. But like you're laying the foundation for the future, and that's where you get the rewards from.
Yeah. And the relationship part is so true. I mean, we were talking to some young coaches that we know recently, and talking about, going to clinics and how it's not all about the clinic itself, but part of it is, talking to people. And, I've always read that a lot of the pro guys go to the combine, and half of that is for networking and talking to people and that kind of thing.
No, for sure.
It's a huge part of it.
No, I mean, all my best friends are guys that I either played high school football. Like I told you, I'm going down this weekend back to the area, and I'm going to spend time with guys that I played high school football with, and then like my buddies at the combine are guys I either coached with or competed against, and there's a mutual respect, because we all know like how much we put into this and how important it is, and everyone watches everybody's film, and those are the conversations that you have, and those are all the guys that like. When you put in this amount of effort for something, and whether it works out or it doesn't, like you have a bond with people, and that's what, and players as well. I mean, like Taylor Heineke is like a freaking brother to me, just from the things that we've gone through. He's getting married this summer, and like he invited me, we're going to the wedding, and we're excited for that. But like, we'll always like have a connection based off of, again, like a lot of adversity and things that we went through. And, and there's countless other players. I mean, I saw Jacoby Myers. He plays for the Jaguars. I coached him at the Raiders, and he's one of the best people you ever met. Stephon Diggs. I know he's got some issues going on, but like I recruited him when he was a good counsel when I was at Pitt, and then coached him at the Minnesota Vikings, and he's a warrior, and like he's somebody that like is always going to be close to me, and gave a big hug before the game, and it's always excited to see people. And there's so many other people like that, like I said, coaches and players that you just connect with, and it's like it's a real connection, and you don't really get that from, I don't think, I know people get that from their jobs, but not like this, you know what I mean? It's a totally different thing.
So you kind of talked about recruiting, and so it's because you've done it. What advice would you give kids who are trying to get recruited, or in the process? I mean, what are the things that you looked at? How did you go through as a college coach? What was your process when you're going and through and looking for who you're going to try to pick up?
Yeah, obviously, like the tape's the number one thing. Like you go, go play well. I mean, obviously, like they're all trying. Every kid's trying to play well. Like I'm not trying to say that, but like and then don't give anybody any red flags. Like don't have off the field stuff. Like don't have bad grades. You know what I mean? Like, go to as many camps as you see. Like try to be seen. Like, make yourself available to coaches. And then be realistic about yourself and your ability. Not everyone's going to go to freaking Alabama, and like the chance to go play football in college is huge, no matter what level it is. And then like, you see where it can go from there. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched last night, that FCS game was like one of the best football games I've ever watched in my entire life. And like I told you, like I'm a junkie. Like I watch them all. I watch any game. My wife's like, what game are we watching tonight? I'm like, Montana State, Illinois State. She's like, "You're serious?" No, like, yeah, I am. But like that was one of the greatest games ever. Like it was better. It was probably better than any Monday night game that was on.
It was really
season.
Good. Did you tune in the D3 championship at all? That
was Sunday. We were flying back. We were flying back. I was watching the Ravens Steelers on my phone, so I didn't see the D3 one. But if it was on, it was crazy. If it was on like a random night, like if it was the only game on, like I definitely would have watched it for sure. So yeah, I mean, I just think like that's the biggest thing for the kids that are getting recruited is like, don't try to, be realistic about what your abilities are and just, work your butt off and see where it can take you.
Yeah. The other thing I kind of tell kids, and I'm curious, kind of reiterate or agree with this. I tell them all the time, even if you go to college and you get to that point, if you don't build good habits of practicing hard all the time, because once you get past high school, and I'm not, in high school, there's some guys who aren't going to play football ever again. But once you get to that next level, all those guys, like the guys who weren't very good, are all gone. And so, like working hard and if you don't have good practice habits, it'll show up quickly. When you're competing every day against guys who are trying to take your job every day. It's not, in high school, a lot of times the kids who go on, especially who play at the Division I level, they're going to start. I mean, they could, they go half speed in practice, and because they make that difference. But I tell them all the time, you get to that next level, like you better be ready to work hard every day, and that includes study the playbook, that includes go to class and do all the right things.
And we talk about discipline. Like I always talk to everybody, like our players, like and even myself, like about just discipline and like having that self-discipline to like, do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. And like that's the greatest gift you can give to yourself is discipline. And that's going to carry you further than anything else. And like you're saying, the discipline to practice hard all the time, or to study your playbook, or to, eat right. And again, no one's perfect, but like, that's going to take you, if you have good self-discipline, that's going to take you further than anything else will.
Now, looking at the so South County, those 2 years there. So coming in, and it's cool that you got a coach, 4-year-old coach, that's always the best.
Right. Yeah.
Coming out, running the offense. Were you running coach's offense? Were you running what you wanted to do? A little mix? What were you doing?
No, it was a little bit of both. So the first year I really wasn't doing the offense as much. I was just coaching the quarterbacks, and then the next year, with Pete, I was more involved, doing it. And we kind of switched to like a more of a spread pistol approach, and then we kind of just went all gun. We ended up putting a running back at quarterback like 3 or 4 games of the season. His name was Chris Mitchell. So we had two really good running backs, and we're like, and our quarterback was young. And then we're like, how can we get, and then we're like, you know what, we just put one of the running backs at quarterback, and he couldn't throw it great, but he threw it good enough. They both ended up rushing for 1,000 yards, the quarterback and the running back. And we had a lot of fun. We beat, Bryn Renner was a quarterback at West Springfield. And we beat them 35-31. And that was like the highlight of our season. That helped us make the playoffs, winning that game. And it was a lot of fun, just kind of like, high school football, it's like you got what you got, and like we didn't necessarily have a great quarterback at the school at the time. So just being able to, kind of make it work with what we had. And I think we ended up winning. I think we were 6-4. We were the last team to make the playoffs, but it was the third year the school was in, was there. And it was cool. It was fun. And it was good to see the players celebrate when we found out we were making the playoffs. And obviously we played Westfield and they blew us out in the first round. They ended up winning the state championship, but it was a great experience. It's just like it's just the problem solving, that's really what that year really was about. It was like, how can we get the best out of this group, and that's what you try to do every year as a coach. And, every year, some years are a little more challenging than others, but, that was something that was good. It was fun to do.
Well, and the reason I asked you that is now, Mason and I have been talking about this. I'm going to give you the ultimate hypothetical here. We're going to go back to the future. All right.
Yeah.
I tell you, next year, you're going to coach high school football again. All right.
Yeah.
You come back to Nova. You're going to coach high school ball. You're picking the offense. What are you going to run? What any offense you got? Whatever weapons you need to run it.
I think it'd be a multiple pro style offense. I mean, that's what I've been involved with. And nowadays in the NFL, like there's some spread principles to every multiple offense, but that's what it would be. I mean, it's a lot of I've been a part of some wide zones. I'm more, but I think a little bit more double team, gap scheme, downhill type runs, hard play action pass, kind of deep crossing route, play action offense. Again, I don't know who our quarterback's going to be. Like everything's got to be adjusted that way. And then just the ability to spread people out and let guys play in space. I think, especially with high school, like I talk about this like too, with the college and high school hashes, like you can like spread so many people out to the field and you can make people tackle you in space, you know what I mean? Which is different than, obviously the NFL, where basically the ball's just in the middle of the field all the time. But no, that's where it would be a multiple offense. I think that's just what I believe in. I think you gotta, and again, like I know it's high school, like you don't have much time with the guys, everything like that. But no, that's just what I believe is the right thing to do. And but it all starts. Everyone, everybody talks about the run game, and I'm not belittling the run game. The run game is very important, but every single great offense has a great passing game, and you got to be able to throw the ball down the field. Like, and I think that's something that, and unfortunately we weren't necessarily able to do that at the Jets this year, and I think that's what hindered us a lot. But that's where that opens up. That's like, if you can't do that, then people aren't going to play you fair on defense. And if people don't play you fair, then you got no shot. So, that's where I think, it starts with good offensive football.
So again, with the hypothetical high school offense. So I've seen I've been dug through it, but the NFL playbook's a phone book, which oddly enough,
right. Yeah.
If in high school, what do you think? How many plays should you be running? I mean, if you're coaching high school kids again, and just your normal high school kid, you're not coaching at St. Francis or Modern Day or something like that. You're coaching.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, why'd you say Modern Day? You say Modern Day.
Yeah.
Like
Modern Day's got a program. I'm like learning about St. Francis. I don't know that much about it. I think it's pretty cool though that like Northern Virginia finally has like a school like that. You know what I mean? I know there's like some controversy around it.
I think you're talking about St. James. St. James.
St. James. Yeah,
it's awesome. I think it's cool. I agree. It is cool.
I think it's like, because like we like all those kids like had to commute to DC if they want to play the WCAC, and like I just think it's cool. Like I think it's cool that like, I know Paul VI, and obviously they're so good at basketball, but like I think it's I don't know, like I think it's a positive, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the minority. I know there's a lot of my the old school Vienna guys at the Vienna end were I've seen people on Twitter and Facebook that are complaining about it. But
you definitely know your old neighborhoods because you are correct.
Oh yeah. I know that stuff, and I get it. Like change is hard, but like everybody else has it. Like all the other areas of the country have it. Like why can't Northern Virginia have it too? Like I don't know. I think it's gives kids an opportunity to go play at maybe a little bit of a higher level, and and I think but whatever. I don't know. It's hard to say like a number. Like I always base my offense based not on the number of plays, but like the concept. So like if you teach pass concepts and you have like 10 to 12 different concepts that you run, then like you can formation them different ways, and the players have to learn where to line up, but the quarterback is just running the same play. He's just doing it out of different ways, and then you're presenting different looks to the defense. So like I never like put a firm number on that. To me, it's all like conceptually based, and then being able to like disguise your looks, so it appears to be super complicated, but really it ends up being a lot simpler than you think.
You're talking about good old window dressing, right? You're
Exactly.
running smash, but you're running smash out of 15 different formations, right? But
Yeah, you're running a deep cross concept, or you're motioning to it, or motion into a formation or out of formation or whatever, So
yeah, and
different things that way.
and it seems like that's the way football is going. It's a lot of motions, right? You're constantly trying to make starting off in one
Yeah,
formation.
I think my time at Washington as offensive coordinator, I think I was number 2 in the league in motion percentage behind Kyle Shanahan, and just making the defense think. Like we had my tight end coach at Washington, and then he was our tight end coach in Carolina. His name's Pete Hayner. He's retired now, and he used to always be like, make a 4-7 line, or make a 4-6 linebacker, make him play 4-8. You know what I mean? Because he's thinking about where the ball's going to be, be there before or after the snap. And those are just the types of things that I believe in philosophy wise. And, you practice it all the time, you drill it with your guys, and you make sure that you're not slowing your own team down. And there's always that fine line, that way. But, that's the thing. Like, don't let the defense get clued into, what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I got a chance to work with. He was the run game coordinator at Kansas State for a bunch of years when Sproles was there. I got a chance to work with him for a little bit, and he always, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Henry. Yeah, he was there because he's a great
Yeah.
guy.
And so he used to always, the thing he told me, and I've kept it for years. He was like, the dirty secret about defense is they gotta be gap sound. And he was like, just keep on moving guys around, because now you're making different gaps, and now they've got to adjust because now guys who they started off with having B gap responsibility, now because you move the tight over here, now they've got to move down because now he's no longer. So he was like, like that was the dirty secret about that. They got to be gap sound.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's happened with all these motions and stuff is like guys will pop gaps, and then obviously that's where you get the explosive runs, so it's good stuff.
And game's changing too. I mean, I really believe you're seeing that 180 now where you're kind of going back to a lot of these, especially in high school, obviously, but these run-based offenses, you're talking about when, at running spread in 07, 08. I remember, and I'm a Woodson guy, so, I was a freshman coach when Connor Riley around that time was at Woodson. And, it was spread everywhere. And that was you were catching everyone off guard, running the spread. And I think it peaked a couple of years ago. And now Mason and I are we're preaching to anyone who will listen, which is nobody, which is fine. But we're preaching to anyone. Especially some of these teams that don't have the talent in some of these conferences to match up. I'm like, don't run that. Go run wing T. Go run single wing.
Right.
And make their life hell preparing for you.
Right. No, for sure. No, it is. I mean, and that's where, high school obviously is a little different that way, but it is. Like there's a lot of like defenses that are, there's a lot of shell defense in the NFL, and or these people that are presenting shell and they're playing pass first, and like a lot of like you got to have the discipline to run the ball, and then obviously play action off it. Like if they're going to be in shell, but they're going to play downhill for the run, like the play action off of it. But there's it's always the cat and mouse between offensive and defensive coaches. That's for sure.
So how cool was, I got to ask you, I'm a Raider fan. And I got to ask you, how cool was it? And maybe you did it before. I don't know. Had you coached with your dad before?
Yeah, so I did. So my dad and I coached together for the first time in Cleveland, 2013. I was a receiver coach. He was offensive coordinator, and then we went to Minnesota, and I was the quarterback coach, and he was offensive coordinator, and then we went to Carolina. 18 and 19, same deal, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, and then he retired. So then I went to Washington as offensive coordinator. I got let go out after the 2022 season. I went to Vegas, and then halfway through this 2024 season, 2 year or whatever last season, they wanted to make me offensive coordinator. Where they fired 3 offensive coaches when they made me the offensive coordinator. I'm like, look, if you want me to do this, like I need some help. Like, will you let my dad come out of retirement? And then I was like, Dad, you want to come live with me for 8 weeks?
I love it.
So he came out and lived with me. And it was obviously a different dynamic. Now I'm the offensive coordinator, and he was like the senior assistant. But we had a blast, man. I mean, like just dialing plays up, and Antonio Pierce was head coach, and obviously we were trying to do everything we can to win and save his job, and it obviously didn't work out. But we had that Black Friday game against Kansas City. We put up 450 yards on Spagnuolo, and obviously screwed it up at the end and didn't get a chance to kick the field goal for the win. But that was so much fun. And And then, like I told you, like Jacoby Myers was on the team, and Brock Bowers. And Brock Bowers is like the single greatest football player I've ever been around in my life.
Really?
So just to be, oh my God, like you guys have no idea
Wow.
how special that football player is, and
Jeez.
just to be around those types of guys. And like my dad got to see him, and like because guys make plays in games, and you guys have always seen his one-handed catches and stuff like that. But like,
Right.
and for every one he's made in a game, he's made 7 of them in practice. I mean, it's like it's a joke, just how talented he is. And just how humble, and like he like says 3 words a day. But like he's one of the most unique people I've ever been around. But just for my dad to be around that and live with my kids are, like I said, my kids are 11 and 9 now. So last year they were 10 and 8, and just to have their grandfather around. My mom came and lived with us and as well, and that was a special
I
time.
can tell. It was cool.
Wish we would have won
the
some more
box
games.
together. Now,
Yeah,
that was the
he
first
was.
time you were in because the previous stints you weren't together in the box.
He would be in the box. He would be in the box, and I would be down
you were on the field, right?
Yeah, because I was the quarterback coach. But
right.
I mean, we had some. Yeah, there was definitely some funny moments. For sure, and that was it was a special time, and it's something I'll always remember.
Yeah,
I think he will as well.
So actually, when you talk about Brock Bowers, when you're talking about kind of evaluation process, at what point did you know? Because I'd imagine you're probably involved in the draft process, evaluating.
Yeah.
When did you know when you're like, this is the dude? Well,
we didn't.
We gotta keep quiet.
We didn't know he dropped us. Like we were picking 13th. We were looking at a quarterback. Like I don't know, all 5 of those quarterbacks went before we picked. And then he was there, and we drafted him. I thought the Jets actually, who I'm obviously with now, we thought the Jets were going to pick him. They picked Olu, our left tackle, which I'm glad we have him. But no, we thought the Jets would get him. And Brock's an interesting guy because he's a little smaller for a tight end, but like he's not even a tight end. Like he's a receiver. Like he can't, like corners can't cover him. He's so strong and fast. Like ball skills are unbelievable. Like he's a one of a kind guy. Like there's not many people like him. I mean, there's no one like him. And just to be 240 pounds and move the way he does and catch the ball and all that type of thing. But it's just, that's what you appreciate, like in this league is to be around guys that are like truly special like that. Those are things that you remember. I mean, like I was telling Aaron Glenn the other day about Chris McCaffrey. I was with him in Carolina, and like he's the single greatest practice player I've ever been around in my life. Like you have to pull him back. Like he won't ever stop. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I mean, you see the way he plays. I mean, he plays like that on game day, but just a guy like that in practice, just like so obsessed with his craft and continuing to get better. It's admirable, and it's cool. It's cool to be around.
Well, and it's good when you have a leader like that who does that, right? Because the other guys around are like, well, if I'm behind him, I should probably practice like that guy does, right? Because if you have a guy who star doing that kind of thing, I mean, it's got to be contagious somewhat, right?
No, for sure. And that, like Andrew Iguodala spoke to the team when we were in Vegas, and the one thing he said is like about Golden State Warriors, and like obviously they had such a great dynasty, and he said the secret to the Golden State Warriors is Steph Curry, because he doesn't stop. Like whatever the coach asks him to do, he does it and more. So when your best player is also your hardest worker, then no one can say anything. You know what I mean? Like what is anybody else going to say? Like what's another player on the team going to say? Like they're not going to slack off. You know what I mean? If the best player is doing everything plus more, so when you get in a situation like that as a coach, you're truly grateful, because it makes your job so much easier as far as like, there's no motivation needed. It happens naturally based off the leadership of the group.
Yeah.
Let you go here in a second, Scott, but I got to ask you one question here. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Say, I already told you where my affiliation is.
Yeah.
I'm watching Indiana closely. What are your thoughts on Mendoza?
No, so we picked second. So I don't know, like, hopefully I don't know who they're going to pick. And I mean, nothing I say here is going to change that. So Mike Shanahan is the offensive coordinator for Indiana, and he played receiver for me at Pitt. I was a receiver coach at Pitt, and he played receiver for me. So me and him are really close. He was at JMU as the offensive coordinator with Signetti before he went to Indiana. So he would come into my office at Washington. Like when he was recruiting, we'd meet at over at One Loudon, what's it called, Matchbox, wherever we go grab a beer and grab dinner. And me and him are really close. We talk, at least once a month, a couple times, obviously get busy, but I'm rooting hard for them. I hope they win the national championship. My dad went to Oregon, and I'm like, Dad, I don't care. I'm rooting for Indiana, man. Like I can't not root for Mike, So, and Mike, and he's a great guy and obviously done an amazing job. But I asked him about, I think that guy's the real deal. We're going to start the evaluation process now. We're going to look at all these quarterbacks and see who's available. And, obviously we're in the market for one. So we'll see, what happens. But no, I think that guy's a really good player. And I think he's got a chance to be good in the league. And, I'm going to dig into it now. I've watched it on TV, but, looking at the film and everything like that. So, but no, it's exciting. Exciting to get into this process, and I'm looking forward to watching the playoff games, both college and NFL playoff games coming up this weekend. Because like I said, I love football, and I'm obviously a coach, but I'm a fan as well, and always like to watch and enjoy the game.
Are you guys doing the Senior Bowl? Is it your staff in the Senior Bowl?
No, we're not. So they don't do it like that anymore. Now it's kind of just split up. They have like random coaches from all
over.
Really?
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So no, hopefully they don't ask me to do it.
That was Gruden. That's because Gruden put all the stickers on everyone's helmets. They had to stop doing that.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So I got to. I know this is a family friendly deal, but I got to tell you guys something. So the All Hitches, you guys, the name of your podcast. So what my dad always said about Hitches. He said hitches are for bitches. That's what we say. We like to throw the ball down the field. I don't know if I can say that on this, but whatever. You guys can bleep me out. But that's what I say. You want to throw the ball down the field. If we wanted a 5-yard game, we just run the ball. You know what I mean? We don't need to throw a hitch.
We knew a coach used to say something similar, Mason.
The reason this podcast is named All Hitches because the last head coach we were under, we'd be like, hey, we should be all hitches, and then to carry a quarterback kind of an easy completion. He was like. All hitches are. He's like that plays for, and he would use a word that you call a cat.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. So that doesn't rhyme though. That doesn't make sense. Like mine.
No, it does not.
Yeah. So no, but I thought you guys would. You guys appreciate that for sure. And I wanted to put this jersey in the background that. So that was the jersey in 2020 when we played at Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. That was the jersey that Alex Smith wore during the game.
No kidding.
Yeah, so you can't see it, but there's a signature on there, and I got that hung up. This is my I'm down in my basement. Got a kind of bunch of pictures and memorabilia up just from the years
I'd imagine
of coaching and everything like that. But I wanted to have that one, especially because Northern Virginia, DC area, and that was a big game for us. And obviously ended up making the playoffs that year and losing Tampa. But no, that was cool. I went down to the equipment guys afterwards. I was like, give me that jersey for sure. So.
That's awesome, Scott. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. And anything I can do to help you guys. No, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Especially I know it's a crazy time, and when I told Mason, I was like, oh, he's gonna come on. I was like, man, I know everything's just going wild right now. It's like Adam Schefter's breaking news every 5 seconds right now. So
I know. No,
so we appreciate it.
For us, this is finally it was good. It was perfect time when you guys reached out. I said, hey, let's do it next week. I'm gonna take my family on vacation next week, so being able to do it now is really good.
All right, well, Scott, thanks again, man. Good luck the offseason breaking down the film. We'll talk soon, Scott. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks,
Mason. That was a phenomenal interview.
Yeah. Just he has a plethora of knowledge and just kind of hearing him kind of picking his brain on things and also. He's removed from Northern Virginia, but keeps up with Northern Virginia football. Has connections to both Coach Counts and Coach Shields.
Coach Counts watches the show. He says from time to time.
Yeah.
We're flattered.
Yeah. Also is a fan of St. James.
Fan of the St. James.
Yeah.
Calls our show all bitches sometimes. And it's fantastic. No, that's funny because we had heard that before. And we laugh. You and I can take a punch. It's all in good, good jokes. And we said it. We named the show because a friend of ours we used to coach with, and we'll just say it, Coach Hendo. Coach Hendo did not like All Hitches, so he's in good company.
Yes.
NFL legend North Turner didn't like it, and Hendo didn't like it.
Yeah. So
Those are vertical game guys, Mesa. Those are vertical game guys.
yeah, apparently we're wrong,
We are
which is really
wrong.
weird because we're really never wrong. It's so
We're
weird.
never wrong, but we're wrong in this regard. All Hitches stinks. But no, seriously, that just a fun interview. And how about if he could run an offense, he's going to run his offense will look a little more like kind of like Westfieldish.
Yeah, lower multiple. He said a lot of hard play action
Yeah.
across the field. So yeah. I mean, pretty interesting take on things. Yeah, I mean, it was a great meal to talk to him though. I mean, and I'm really appreciative of a guy who was at that level, came back to talk to, essentially was talking to his old stomping grounds, which was pretty cool.
Oh, how cool is that? Giving back. How many guys don't do that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Right. And you think about this. So because we're a week ahead on these interviews. So for the audience who doesn't know this, and we're doing this interview, dude. He was coaching against against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And he makes season ends, which is a crazy time for coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, coaches moving, coaches, going all over the place, vacationing, as he said, and makes time for two schmoes like us.
Yeah. And big football junkie, watching FCS championship football games.
Right. He would have watched the St. James game if he knew
Probably would have.
we were live streaming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, awesome stuff. And I agree with him. He's talking about the St. James, right? Talking about the St. James. That's what I've always said. Like, it's cool that Northern Virginia has that.
Yeah.
What
he said, for years, if you want to go play private school football, you had to go to either DeMatha or Gonzaga, right? You had to go to DC
for the elites.
For the elites, right? To go
right. And which is this goes back into what I've been saying about coaches not needing to worry. Like, it's a very small percentage of player that can make it to those schools.
Mm-hmm.
And St. James now being one of those.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like they're going to rob all these teams. This is what you and I have been saying this forever. It's a very, very small percentage of player that can even make it to these schools. And so that's not an issue. And that we should think it's cool that there's a team in Northern Virginia, not in Maryland, not in DC, but in our backyard, that is, playing modern day and is competing at that level. I think it's cool.
Is that the first? That's the first one in the history of Northern Virginia, right? First private school.
Northern Virginia for sure
to do that, and that's crazy because we've talked before about the amount of talent here in the area, right? The fact that no one has tried to do it, and we've
had great public schools, go really far and be ranked, but in terms of a private type school, this is the first one in Nova.
Yeah, and there have been private schools here for a long time, right? Between O'Connell and Ireton and PBI. I mean,
and Flint Hill, and all good programs. Mainly great basketball programs.
Yeah.
You look at the history of Flint Hill with like Dennis Scott.
Yeah.
You look at the history of obviously current, and even Scott knew it, PBI with basketball.
PBI and O'Connell, right?
And O'Connell.
Yeah.
But with football, we really didn't have that.
Yeah.
In the privates. So it's cool. If you love football, it's cool. But he nailed it. He knew his community, didn't he? He said, I'm sure there's some people complaining somewhere in Vienna. Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. That's awesome. So thanks again to Scott Turner coming on, joining us. Oakton Cougar, Scott Turner, right?
Yeah. Oakton Cougar.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. How about Oakton? And how about Vienna in general, right?
Yeah.
They just breed everything football in Vienna.
Yeah. Very much small town feel to Vienna, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It is. It's the last of the small. We don't have a lot of that in Northern Virginia.
Well, he said Arlington, right? Arlington.
Arlington's got some of that. North Arlington especially has some of that. They all know each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look at the Yorktown staff. How they're all like Arlington, Yorktown graduates.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, that was fun, and so hope everyone enjoyed that one. And we got a fun ride ahead with all these interviews.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
it's gonna get good, folks. Sit back. Enjoy it, relax, share it with friends, share with enemies, share with everybody. And, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. And, it's all good stuff, man. I was hoping to get a little Fernando Mania quote from him.
Yeah, can't tip his hat. He probably get in trouble.
Scott Turner's a good poker player. Don't play poker with him. He wasn't going to give me anything on good old Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. From Dash and Dan, we'll see you next time on All Hitches.
See ya.